Alright, I'd like to do this. We got the webcam on. I'm not just a disembodied voice today. We got the coffee on hand. Got the birds in the background chilling. Sorry about any extra noise here again, but we got a bit to talk about, I guess, today here. This guy's got a new coffee maker. Fantastic. Ninja Brewers. Not not a paid promotion. Absolutely fantastic though. What also is fantastic? The Munitorum Field update. Listen, I don't know about every faction. If y'all got crazy point hikes, there's some important things that got point hikes here. Um, I definitely know about Tyranid stuff though. But overall, the Munitorum Field Manual, not three times fast. Um, it is the best that's ever been. Look at this thing. This is beautiful. It's organized. It's like a living document. It's not like a fucking PDF anymore that they're just going and altering numbers and then you hope they remember to highlight stuff. Like, this is nice. This is really nice. I wish they would make this an app as well. So you can look at the field manual separately. I wonder how it looks on a cell phone, actually. I haven't tried that yet. They should almost have an app, I feel like. Oh wait, before I talk about my own faction, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the defiler a little bit. This thing went from like what 250, 260. It was about the price of an Orn, up to 300. Your second one costs 330. And your third one's also gonna cost 330. Other the like about a 50-point spike and then an 80-point spike. Yeah, let's go. And then the warrior options, I'm not sure how they build, but the fact that it costs 10 more points to switch out to default gear also is kind of nice. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna see three of them as often. Maybe not see two as often. I've seen some videos like was it Velcroth or something like that. He's saying that this is like a meta tax, they were calling it. And I'm okay with the meta tax. Some people are kind of up in arms about it, I think. I think it's fine. I This is a good tool for them to balance the game. And they made the game a little bit more fun. People that want to get in the tournament scene, and there's still going to be shenanigans you can do. It's like, oh no, I have to run a variety of units in my competitive list. Oh no, I have to use a bigger collection, not just the same spam three of all the best things. It's kind of great for the game. I'm not gonna lie. Like, if you want to run three of the same thing for fun, do it. But like, if you're min-maxing for a tournament list, you're probably not going to be doing it as often. Maybe you are. Maybe it's that good still that you're going to run three of that unit no matter how much they freaking meta tax you. But I think it's a step in the right direction because we also have that where like the different size units cost different points. We have the gear costing points, you know, so they got the tools to really mess with stuff here. But on to where I really care. I mean, our Tyranid points. Honestly, Tyranids, I was really worried they were gonna have a lot of point spikes because of the article they put out ahead of time where they're like, oh, things that maybe like Battle Shock or how the Battle Shocks are gonna go up. Things that have psychic shooting are gonna go up. Things that are like big beefy melee monsters are gonna go up. Most of my lists I had saved over as the app transitioned over. I'll talk about the app a little bit here. Most of my lists went up by 30 points at most or stayed about the same. So for Tyranids leads, internal balance wise, I feel like it didn't really affect us too much. We have a little bit here and there, but nothing crazy, in my opinion here. The biggest shocker, I think, is Biowar going to 60 points instead of 50. That just feels weird. Just because, like, I feel like they have less of a purpose in this edition. You want to hold, like, sometimes the enemy gets bonus points for taking your home, but if they're saying something dedicated to get rid of to take your home, your Biowar is not going to stop it. Like, your Biowar is still good for screening out your backfield. There's a couple secondaries that just like there's still a table quarters one, and then one of the I'm sure which one it is, but one of the dispositions in one of its matchups its primary wants table quarters as well. In that case, like it's good. I feel like we don't necessarily need it as often anymore as we used to. Depending on your disposition, depending on your attachments, you might pass the Biovore now instead of it being the auto include. I don't know, we're gonna have to play more with the edition to find out. But yeah, if you want to take three of them for 140 points, you absolutely can. I mean, why not? Why could we ball? But and so people are like, well, there's absolutely no purpose to that. But the thing is, I don't know if anyone knows this or has realized this, but when they place their spar mine, if there's three of them, then you actually place a unit of three spar mines. So you could use that for screening and better move blocking potentially, but is it worth 140 points? Probably not. But it's an option. That's what was going off the top of my head. But Broodlords say the same. Barb Gods say the same. I think Carnifexes are still the same. No gear up cost on them, thank goodness. Death Leaper, I believe, is the same. Exocrine stay the same, but you pay a 10-point tax for your third one. But I typically run two, so this doesn't really affect me. Gargoyles went down by 5 points, actually. They were 85. So now they're 80. And then a unit of 20 is 155, so you save 5 more points. So people weren't really running 20-man units of them before. It's usually a 10-man or two 10-mans. They can either like gargoyle cage your opponent or fly them up really quickly and just like kind of zone out like two primaries in 10th edition. Or you keep them in reserves and deep strike them in for like for a secondary towards the end of the game or mid game or whatever. So, but I don't think they're bad still. I mean, they're super fast. They're still gonna put pressure. Honest one hit against them, gives them a little bit more survivability. They still 6-up save. I mean, they're still, they see a torrent weapon, they're gonna disappear. They see a bunch of small arms fire, they're gonna disappear. But they are gonna have contest objectives. They're just annoying, and if the unit survives, certain detachments can heal them up, so it's fine at that end here. Gene Sealers, they're the same, actually. I was concerned they would go up in points. Same with the Broodlord, because that's kind of a good combo unit in this edition, especially. They still get their scout move and everything. You do pay attacks for your third unit of them, but honestly, it's not that bad. An extra 10 points. Okay. And if you're running a third unit, you're probably I mean some people do run one unit of five for screening. Um but typically if you're like going full set and you're running three units of Gene Stealers, you're probably running the three Broodlords, three 10-man Gene Stealers. And you're probably running Vanguard Onslaught at that point, and you're probably doing the advancing scout and turn one, move eight, advance and charge, and blocking your opponent in. So I don't think that's a bad point hike on them, honestly. And Broodlords don't go up for taking multiple of them either. So like, oh no, we pay 10 extra points. Not a big deal. Harpy, I don't know if its points changed. I don't remember. I've never used the Harpy. Harridan, I'm not really sure either. I've never considered using a Harridan. I don't own one. I don't own a Harpy anymore too. I have one in my old army. Um, the Harridan having a 50-point spike for taking a second one is hilarious though. Why would you take two? I mean, maybe. There was a GT list a while ago that was on Goodhammer that someone took a Harridan to a GT and did pretty decent with it actually. But I don't think it's gonna be often, and that could just be like it was a smaller GT, the meta was a little different. Maybe no one played into that because it was such a skew. But there's not a big enough sample size. But like, yeah, the Harridan's great. Let's run two of them. Auspex 125. He didn't go up at all. I kind of expected him to go up a little, but the third one you pay 10 more points. Not a big deal. Hierophant, same idea. He goes up 100 points if you're in the second one. I don't know if anyone out there was like, yeah, I want to spend 1,700 points on two Hierophants right now, or even before, or like 1,600 before. I just can't see that 2,000 points. Maybe someone out there did, but now they stopped it from probably happening. Same with Hive Crone. I don't know. Let's be real. I don't know what the two flyer units do for us anymore with aircraft. If you look at aircraft, and one of them has melee attacks, which was really weird. I kind of assumed ours were gonna get hover because they had melee attacks, but I guess not. So I don't know what to expect. I thought ours were gonna get the same treatment as the Helldrake, honestly. I'm surprised it was in the end too. I'm kind of surprised the Helldrake's the one that got the hover thing, and we got the aircraft, or not both of us, because they're kind of similar to each other. One of these got like a torrent weapon similar to the Helldrake even, and it has melee attacks, meant to be like an anti-flyer unit. How am I supposed to use it like as an anti-flyer like melee unit if it can't engage flying aircraft, other aircrafts in melee without being charged by like a flying unit itself? But whatever. That's such an interesting case. I don't think it matters too much. Hive Guard, I think they're the same point cost. They were 80 before for three. And like again, if you for some reason took three units of them, I don't think it's a big deal for that 10-point increase at that point. And I mean, it's only 10 points no matter what you do, if you took 3 or 10 or 6. Still engines on Siren Guard, he's shaded the same. Formagons, what, up by 5 points for the 10-man unit. They want to discourage you for the 10-man. But the 20-point unit, or the 20-man unit, is freaking 20 points cheaper than it should be, I feel like. Because even before it was 130, so now it's 120. They really want you to take that 20-man unit. And honestly, the 20-man unit in certain detachments with the Prime with the Lash Whip, I think it's a bad move at all. Even like Synaptic Nexus, you get the 5 award save. Or 5, I think Warhammer Fantasy with the 5 of Invuln save that you can pop off with Synaptic Nexus because you have Synapse creature in the unit. You can do the one that's like the once per turn ability, or you can use a stratagem, or yeah, stratagem to give it to him as well. Not terrible. And yeah, 120 that with the Prime with the Lash Whip, it's like what? Oh yeah, it wasn't up there. Oh yeah, it's in alphabetical order. We'll get to him. Yeah, 120 points. I don't feel it's bad for a 20-man Hormigaunt unit. I almost want to get 10 more so I can run 2 20-man units on the occasion. I didn't want to run a Horde stuff and Tyranids this time around, but now I'm considering it because of this. Hyperdaptor did not change in points. I expected Hyperdaptors to go up. But they only go up if you buy a third unit of them. I only own 2 units of them. But it only goes up at 10 again. They can still join Raveners, thank goodness. I love that 10-man unit. Some people don't like it just because it's a big bulky unit. It is pretty expensive as well. And you have that issue now where it's covers all or nothing. Either the whole unit's in cover and you get cover, or one person's not in cover from the firing target, and so the unit doesn't cover itself. They don't have the great save. They're very much glass cannons. Oh, they're so much fun and they hit so hard. I tried them in Vanguard slot for the first time in my first 11th edition game, and then with advanced and charge is silly. It's really silly. It's really good. Lictor's still 60 points. I actually expect Lictors to go down because they kind of mentioned like, oh yeah, Strikes First was as good as it was before, so some of the things with Strike First that kind of relied on are going to go down a little bit, and Stealth is weaker. I kind of expected them to go down to 55 or 50 points, honestly. They're still really good, though. I mean, don't get me wrong, Lictors are fantastic. You can't go wrong. I mean, they still have a 12-inch loan up. They still have cover no matter where you put them. They still strike first for ongoing combat, so... And Lictor attachment's pretty sweet so far, so, you know, hey. Malefactors. This is the other one I expected to go up way more. They only went up 10 points. I'm okay with that. And if you take a third one, they go up at 10 more. Okay. So, my list that run double Malefactors went up by 20 points. It evens out with other things that went down in points, too, with what I typically run, so... I think this is fine. Because I was using my double Malefactors last night, or yesterday, I guess. Whatever. Anyways, yeah, when your opponent's like, oh, they got cover, I'm like, play shooting. It's great. You don't care. And then you're like, AP2, and I'm like, then your brain clicks like, oh, yeah, they're in cover. But I get my full AP still. And this is glorious. It's really good. They still kind of suck in melee, of course. But I used Massive Impacts last night, or Crushing Impacts, where the attachment's called, for the Universal Tank Monster Shock. And it's cool. I like having that option now. I rolled 11 dice for a Maliceptor because it's 1 per toughness. I'm like, alright, this is cool. Did like 5 or 6 damage to a ghost kill with it, did 1 damage to myself, and it's glorious. And then Crusher Stampede has their built-in one still, their Massive Impact one that you can't hit yourself. It just rolls 6 dice, that's like a grenade. But that gives you the option for 2 different stratagems that let you do a charge and mortal wounds on a unit. So yeah, that's pretty cool. A lot of extra mortal wounds that we can throw around in the charge phase in certain attachments now. Moloch? I don't know if the Moloch went up points or not. I don't run Molochs. I feel like he did, though. I feel like he was a bit cheaper than this before. I could be wrong now off the top of my head. Amulet Spores, also not sure. I don't think anyone runs them. I don't think anyone runs them for fun, let's be honest here. Neurogons stay the same. 45 or 90. Super cheap. They're a good backfield holder. Or if you're running a lot of synapse creatures, just something that help extend your synapse line, I guess, if you wanted to. But 45 points to screen at your backfield, especially with it being a little harder now with the 8-inch or just over 8-inch deep strike thing, or being away from units when you come in from reserves in general. Not a bad unit. They do suffer a little bit from the fact that you can only screen out 9 inches now with them, but honestly, that's not a huge deal. I think it's fine. I guess the one I expected was the Neuraliter to go up, which is funny because he was 80 points when I started playing 10th edition. Then he went down to 70, and no one was really using him at 80 points. And then we started using him at 70 points, and then he's about to 80 because of how Battleshock works in 11th edition. So is it justifiable? I'm probably, because he's got so much potential now with Battleshock, where if you trigger Battleshock on a unit, it has the potential to stay Battleshock the rest of the game while it's on the table. So, the third one costing another 10 points, I don't think that's a big deal either. That throwing 3 Neurolictors, you're going for a very specific, I'm going to Battleshock the bullshit out of you build, and you're probably very willing to pay that extra 10 points for that third Neurolictor. I'm just saying. Neurotyrant up 10. That one I expected. I actually bet him got more because of him having the -1 globally to the Battleshock check when he Shadows in the Warp. Because I feel like right now, even more before, I always had the mentality that I want to Battleshock or do my Shadows in the Warp in turn 2 or turn 3. Just to kind of get the enemy opponent like in like their go turn, you know? So if you Battleshock a couple things, they can't use all their stratagems necessarily, and you kind of give them their go turn a little bit. And maybe stop some scoring as well, where a lot of people I feel like save it for the end if they don't build into it. To try and stop some late game scoring, but I feel like you're better off doing it like the climax. But that's my opinion, at least. It depends on the matchup, depends on the scenario, depends on how the table's positioned and your opponent's position. But, anyways, I feel like nowadays more so than before, it's definitely worth doing early because, like, Battleshock, like, a couple units at the beginning of the game, they're going to roll for it again, even without below half strength. They have to get out of it. And if you're running the right detachment, you might be able to put some more extra negatives on them. You side that with some Neurolictors and some Screamer Killers and your Shadows in the Warp. It's pretty cool. But yeah, and there's a couple strategies for a couple detachments that cause Battleshock. I was playing Vanguard Assault again. We'll go back to this. I didn't realize they had detachment. Anytime something comes in for reserves on a 2-up, they take a Battleshock attack as they come into the battlefield. Feels really good in this edition. You side that with the Neurotyrant and the Lictors. And then you get your couple Screamer Killers in there somehow, too. Pretty sweet. The ones I wasn't sure about that, I actually said that Norns would go up in general. Your first one's cheaper than before by 10 points. It was 260. Actually, your first one is similar is way cheaper. Actually, they were 275. He came down by 25 points. Where if you take a second Orn, it evens out to them essentially being the same cost as before, because one's 250, one's 270. Split the difference would be 260 each, and that's what they were. Same thing happens with the Norn Simulator. They're still 15 points cheaper than before. But if you're taking the Norn Simulator, you're either running Pressure Stampede, Assimilation Swarm, and you're probably pairing it with the Norn detachment. So you probably want to spend the 20 or 25 points to, we'll get down to it, but the 20 or 25 points to give them the invulnerable save, because it makes them so much better. And then you have the thing where you can change their rule per, like a second, like in the middle of the game. So you can be like, oh, I'm going to hold this objective, and now I'm going to go murder that unit and get reroll hit wounds against this unit in particular, because fuck you. But, or you can be like, oh, this objective is going to be covered by my gaunts now because I've pushed the enemy back so far. So I'm going to change this Norn to hold this objective now, and we're going to march over there. Because sometimes the objectives are really close together, so it's easy to move from one to the other, especially from the center, and then get onto another point and maintain your feel no pain save for it. 3 Norns. I mean, I've seen a lot of triple Norn lists when I was at the Dallas Open. I mean, there was 11 of us, and I think a good portion of the guys were running 3 Norns. I was running 2. I think 2 is a good spot. I think 2 and 1, like 2 Norn emissaries and 1 assimilator is going to be a good move. Because you have like your 2 for taking points essentially and holding them. And if you're running the Norn attachment, you can pump their strength up, and then like your Norn assimilator already hits a little harder, and you can definitely really bump his strength up because he gets strength 15, like strength 15 or 16, like that weird with the +2 strength stratagem. And then his other attacks, his primary attacks are get up the strength 12. It's pretty cool. That's your thing that you're like, I'm rerolling hits and wounds against it too. Like, oh man, you're gonna wreck someone. Screwed up, sorry. But I don't think three Norns is necessarily gonna be the move, and like I said, unless you're mixing and matching the different types of Norns, which I think is a good move right now. I could be wrong, but I think I really want a third, so I always wanted one assimilator as well. I already have two emissaries, so I think two emissaries, one assimilator if you want to go Norn heavy is the way to go, or maybe two and two. I don't think full send 3 and 3 is the move unless you really want to go for that for like Crusher Stampede. I've thrown it together. You don't have a lot of wiggle room after you run three of each, so you have a little bit though, but that's gonna be hard to deal with too. You got three Norns for holding objectives and three Norns for pushing, essentially. So you support that just right, it's gonna be pretty nasty. Old one I 40, so it's Carnifexes. I think you say is the same. I guess. I got my app real fast. Does he should maintain. I wonder if they changed the wording on his reroll to hit. I don't know if they did. Let's look really quick here. I don't use one a lot that much. I know a lot of people really like him. I don't think he's that good. I'm gonna upset some people when I say that. Oh, let's go Tyranids, Codex Tyranids, data sheet. What is organized alphabetically? Run an alphabet? I don't know. Hold on. Abilities. While this model is leading a unit, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, you can re-roll the hit roll. Okay, so it doesn't get if he starts the game solo, but I believe now with how it's worded in like the rules, that if he attaches to a Carnifex unit and gives that unit the reroll hit thing, he maintains the reroll hit thing until he dies, until he's eliminated too, I think, now, instead of losing it when he's no longer leading the unit. I could be wrong though, but I think that's how it works now. I don't run him anyways, so Parasite, I think Parasite's the same points as before. A decent loan up character if you really need it. Like he kind of works like our like Lictors, and he can deep strike in, but we can make Lictors deep strike now. So Parasite is good. I don't know. I mean, Parasite's I mean, just action unit. Maybe they go down a little. Maybe it was a little bit higher before, but I think it's still viable if you want to run them for doing actions, doing missions. Depending on your disposition, it could be decent for you. Psychophage Seed 110. I had a random thought with Psychophage the other day. They're also one of our few monsters that doesn't get taxed for taking three of them. I don't think it's ran a lot. The additional AP in close combat's pretty good still. The fact that our shooting's not suffering from cover stopping AP now, though, is a huge boon to us. I mean, it is to all armies, but I feel like Tyranids in particular, we really benefit from it, especially because we're doing a lot of psychic shooting too. But I feel like his thing now is the way that smoke screens work. Everything behind him that he like partially obscures, if there's no terrain doing it for you, is going to get cover also when he pops smoke. So I don't know. He's like mobile cover, and I kind of like that now. I'm not saying it's good, but I mean the fact he moves 12 inches, like he's got play. I feel like he's one of those units though that a lot of us struggle to fit him into our list. Like if you're at that point where you're like, oh, maybe I'll take a second phase. It's like, well, but I could take some like there's some upgrades. Or I could take this battle line unit instead and do this with it. So he like competes for that spot, but maybe like if you're in Crusher, like full monster send, he's really good. Obviously in Assimilation Swarm, he's gonna be really good. Assimilation Swarm too, because you have all the ways to heal. He's a harvester unit. And now he's gonna be a mobile smokescreen. If you're running a bunch of extra Norns and we're about getting shot when they pop out the first time, and they're not going to be covered from certain viewpoints, you can run him and block him and pop smoke with him and be like, hey, he's mobile cover now. And now Snorn's got cover against all your shooting this phase. Huzzah. But, maybe. And then, you can make your Norns AP3 with their regular claws, not the big claws for the simulator, but like all the other attacks from the Norns in general. I made them AP3 instead of whatever they are. It also make, I think the big spike claws, I can't remember if they're AP3 or AP4, or the harpoon thing for the assimilator. I forgot off the top of my head. But mean, they made that better too. Things with good saves. It's kind of not a bad thing. That random 6 that stops you every so often. Pyrovores, 45. I don't remember the breakdown. Okay, they go by 10 if you take a third unit of them. I think you only take a third unit of them in a Simulation Storm if you take them at all. I know the first one was 45 points before. I don't remember how much the second and third one were before, but a unit of 3 of them for 95 points doesn't feel awful. I get the steal, honestly, compared to just one. Again, I feel like you're only going to do that like in a simulation for the most part. Could be wrong. Maybe you're going to find other uses for them, especially with Torrent being pretty good. Still. Uh, Wait, what do they do? Let's look. And I just realized this video is very longer than I thought it was going to be, but hey. Pyrovores, their range weapon, D6 plus 1, string 6, minus 1 AP, 1 damage, indoors cover, torrent, and it's twin linked. Ooh, I forgot about the twin link part of that. Indoors cover, obviously, because it doesn't have the roll anyways. And you're shooting, also, appearance have the one of the few torrent weapons that does have indoors cover, that gained indoors cover in this edition, so I kind of like that. Burning spray. In your shooting phase, after shooting a shot, select one enemy unit hit by one or more of those attacks. Until the end of the phase, that enemy unit cannot have the benefit of cover. Ooh. That got a lot better this edition. It's on the 6 with 3 up, save 5 wounds. 1 OC. 5-inch movement, but still. It's a 17-inch threat range, essentially. It's pretty good. Oh, Trapper's probably got some play in more than just Simulation Storm, maybe. Just because of how shooting changed. They're shooting heavy. They're not a bad option. AP1's whatever. The string 6 twin linked is still pretty good. 3d6 plus 3 if you're on the full unit. 95 points? I think that's awful. It's 15 toughness 6 wounds. Yep, save. And they're got a low profile to them. They're kind of easy to hide them a little bit too, I feel like. I mean, the base is big, right? But they have a low profile to them. They're low riders. I don't have any, so might be consideration though. Just kind of thinking, our Kurt Combat Patrol, 2 of that actually, besides the Parasite doubling up on it. Maxes out my Gene Stealers, gives me a unit of either Hive Guard or Tyrant Guard. I think it gives me 2 more Biovore Pyrovore kits, so I can actually make Pyrovores to run a simulation swap. Pyrovores being like this dirt cheap, being like $50 a model. Man, it makes the point per dollar thing if you're on a 3-man unit so bad. It's so bad. Oh my god. Ignore that though. There might be more now too. That was like before the last price hike. Oh god. Coffee after that one here. Raveners, on the other hand, stayed 125 points. If you take a third unit, they go 135. I do own 3 units of regular Raveners. Don't often run all 3, but a 10-point hike, the only time you're maybe going to do that is Subterranean Assault. If you're really going to all the, like, the burrowers. You have extra things to make burrows and all that. You're having me some of them join the Hyperdaptor Raveners. So, whatever. That's fine. It's very niche that you're going to run 3 of them anyways. Harbor Swarms are super cheap. I don't think they were this cheap before. So one model's 30 points, 2 for 40, or 3 for 50. Like, it's so good for a simulation, because they're harvesters. They can trigger the healing ability on other units around them. And it's hard to see them. And people aren't going to shoot them necessarily right away. Especially if it's like behind a Norn. Or like they're chilling behind like in the terrain and they're like, hiding in that spot where they're like able to go to ground if you can see them, because they're behind the dense piece of terrain. Because they're the right angle, they get visual on them anyways, and they're close enough to the knowing that they're supporting, they heal it every time in the in a simulation swarm. And the Rippers can do some things. I think they don't have an AOC though. The other hilarious thing they do though is that they're engaging a unit in melee. They have its OC. That's just funny. I don't know if it's that good. The only time I feel like it's good is against guard when they have their banner. all their stuff to increase their OC because they can OC it. But other than that, I don't feel like it's that great. Maybe it is. I don't know. 50 points to three of them. Fun though. One of those things you can use to round out your list, I guess, at the end. Screamer Killer. First two, 125. Third one's 135. I mean, I kind of expected him to go up. I guess the third one going up because he causes, when you shoot at something, he causes a battle shock at -1 in the shooting phase. And if you run, even if you run like two of them, and then two Neurolifters, and then a Neurotyrant, you cause a lot of random battle shock with that. It's got the potential to be really good. And next is you run the Dirge of Karnus or whatever it is, Canis Aura, and Tyrant that's passing off a -1 leadership aura, and then you get -1s of their rolls, and good stuff, good stuff. Spore Mines. 3 for 25 or 6 for 110. Weren't they 35 points for 3 before? Why are Spore Mines more expensive? That is the one that makes absolutely no sense to me. I'm pretty sure they're more expensive. Like, who the fuck? I swear a lot in this. I'm not making profit anyways on YouTube, it don't matter, I guess. But like, who the fuck is running 6 Spore Mines? Who the fuck is running Spore Mines in general for 55 points? By themselves. I'm gonna spend the extra 5 points and have a Biowar that's gonna make at least 3 in the game, if not more. Like, why? That Biowar's got way more function. These don't score, they only count it as a freaking presence. Then a Sporos is for 145. It's not that good. It does like D6 mortals at best, I think. Like, it's worse this way, I think it is. I don't know, Sporus is the thing that hits the ground. Okay, never mind, never mind. That's the thing that doesn't move that Deep Strike's in. My bad, my bad. Oh, it's the Mucilate Spores. Or the other one. These are 30 for 1. Oh my gosh. I'd almost run a Mucilate Spore before I'd ever run regular, Spore Mines, I guess. Each time on a 2 to 5, they suffer D3 mortal wounds. On a 6, they suffer D6 mortal wounds. Yeah. The Spore Mines got something crazy in this edition I didn't see. I don't think they did. They fly. I didn't realize that before, because I never move them. Oh, they also have the beast keyword. Hint? Why? Anyways. Yeah, the 2 to 5 is 1 mortal, and a 6 is D3. It's so bad. Anyways. Summer Gods. 60 for 10, or 20 for 110. Also, again, they kind of were like, hey, instead of taking 2 10-man units, why don't you just take that 20-man unit? Which, if I was going to run Termagants, both of them like Spine Fists, they were just kind of help screen my Tyrant. They're running with my Tyrant or something. I'd probably want them in 20 mans if I'm running like Devours or Flesh Borers. I don't think you typically run Flesh Borers nowadays. I don't run regular Termagants anyways. Devours or the Spine Fists are the way to go. I feel like a couple of the Tort weapons. But 110 for them. Devours shoot pretty good, right? Termagant. Termagant Devourer, 2 shots on 4s. 4 strength, no AP, 1 damage, 18 range. I mean, not terrible for single objective if you want to put 40 OC on something. It'd be fun. If that's what you want to do. Torvagon's 160. Torvagon stays the same. Which seems alright. I don't think Torvagons are harvesting. I have used Torvagon since like 6th edition. It's not small maps. Like, but they heal like gods and everything, so they can buff them. So I mean, if you go the horde route with a bunch of Termagants and Hormagons, you want to run a Termagon probably. Otherwise, meh. Red Terror, I'm surprised stayed the same points, actually. I kind of thought he'd go up a little bit. I think Red Terror so far is great for 3 points. I've only used him in like 3 games. I haven't painted. I just after the Dallas Open and with the 11th edition coming, I went from like I'm gonna run Subterranean Assault to I'm like I don't know if I'll run a 3-point detachment right now. I think I want to try out some of the 2 points with a 1 point combo and see what I can do with it. Maybe something fun or something a little bit better than Invasion or Sub Assault because I've played a lot of Invasion. I've played a lot of Sub Assault. I want to break from that point. Uh, so Red Terror again, he works really good in Vanguard slot. He gets advanced in charge. That's pretty good. He moves through freaking like terrain anyways. So him with advanced in charge, the 10-inch move, he moves through walls. He's great. You rapid ingress in your opponent's turn and somewhere safe, and then the next turn he's got a 11 to 16-inch move, and then charges, and then fails to charge. He leaves the table so he doesn't get shot. If he charges in, hopefully he kills whatever he's against. Great. You can also use them like if you decide not to use a Biovore. It could be someone that helps protect your backfield because you cannot be down basically at the end of your fight phase. So it is very possible for you to get him where you need him to be. Because you could, if he's not engaged in your fight phase, he could leave the table and then come rapid ingress in your opponent's movement phase, and help protect your backfield if you need him to. Like he's got possibilities, and like if someone's deep striking like a 5-man unit in your backfield, it's probably something that can't take Red Terror by itself. So you got that going for you. Swarmlord, you went down by 10 points. That's fantastic. Swarmlord's really good already. A lot of us love Swarmy Tyranids. The extra CP is great. The Vexor is great. The Vexor that causes things that cost one more CP though got nerfed a little bit, which is why he went down in points, I think. Because you only use it once per turn, I believe now, or once per battle round to make something cost more. And it's not everything within 12 inches anymore, which it's kind of a big deal. But honestly, like unless you're like throwing him out there with Sub Assault, you weren't really using him for that, so it was kind of niche when it did happen. If you have him kind of hang back to like the late game, like yeah, you might stop your opponent from using some of like big abilities they're trying to swing the game with. But he was like usually like for me, obviously like generating extra CP, which seems to be a big deal in this edition. And he was like the mid game threat. Like he would come out like turn 3 basically and be like, or like hold my backfield, defend it with like his psychic torrent weapon and all his melee, and then like later he's like, oh mid game I'm coming out, mid late game he's coming out for cleanup duty or taking objectives that I really need, or cleaning out my backfield from things that are threatening it. You know, yeah, moves. The Toxicrin. I don't remember what its points were before. I think it went down. I could be wrong though. I don't remember being really dirt cheap. I want to say it was 160 before off the top of my head. It might have went down. It might not have. I could be really wrong on this. But 135 isn't awful. I'm gonna say why. Okay. Toxicrin might have a little play now because it does not have the frame keyword. That's a big deal decision. Yes, you can see models, like you can partially see him because of his arms overhanging, but you can't measure to those limbs anymore to see him and to shoot him. You have to measure to his base, and that changes things a bit. Uh, and I do like that change in this edition. Unless you have the frame keyword, things are measured to your base now. They are not measured to the closest part of the model. So your big ass gun hanging off the Tyranno effects, they can't measure that anymore. You can, I think it's still on a sight from it technically, but measurement, everything's coming from the base. So that changes things a little bit for positioning. You're not worried about that overhang anymore as much. The Toxicrin might be okay in this edition, especially them being a bit cheaper. We'll have to see. I mean, he's just a 11 top, does a 3-up save, no invuln save. His range, okay. He's got like a terrible range attack, but he's anti-infantry 2-up. I mean, he's okay. It's just, we have so much that does what he does already, but better. 135 kind of competes with the horror specs at at that point, though, right? And the horror specs is a bit better in melee, anyways. Even if it doesn't have anti-characters, it's got a bunch of strength 7 attacks to become strength 8 in melee, or within synapse. The strength 14 attacks to take out big stuff. I just feel like he's a little bit better, but for a similar purpose, you know? Trigon said the same. which is fine. He still maintains the thing where you can do trade within 6, but he can't charge that turn, but it's great for rapid ingress. Um, yeah, not much to say about that. I'm kind of shocked he didn't go up. No, actually, I'm not. He's a glass cannon. He's pure glass cannon. You feel like toughness 10 with 14 wounds and a 3-up save is okay until you use him. And it's if he's not safe enough, he's just dead. But if he hits something, it's dead. Like, those 12 attacks on 3s, their strength or 10, I think. Minus 2, 3 damage. Like, it hits hard. It hits. 200 pound with Lash Whip. He went up by 10 points, but it's okay, because when he first came out, it was 85 points. He had to pick between one of his 3 weapon profiles. He went down by 20 points and gained extra attacks on his whip. 75 points with all the same attack profile. I think that's fine. He's so good already that I don't think anyone's going to drop him from the list that uses him regularly at this point. I mean, like, I think that's justifiable. He has so many attacks. It's ridiculous. Like, him at 65 was a steal. I think him at 85 with in the whip as extra attacks would have been fine too when he first came out, but 75 is still cheaper than he started, and he's still better than when he started, so I think we still ball with him. Just such a good unit. I've seen people use him solo, I've seen people use him in against 10 and 20 Hormigons. I mean, for me personally, I think the move is to use him in a 10 or 20 man Hormigon unit. I feel weird using him solo when he's not loading up and all that jazz. He doesn't have any weird thing to help protect him or hide him, other than being like a solo model. And at that point, maybe like Lictors are gonna fill a better role, but he has a mobile synapse unit. I don't know. It's got viability, I guess. Warriors with melee bioweapons. I don't remember what their point value was before, but I think it's about the same. It might have changed by like 5 or 10 points. They're still fine. They're great with him. I think besides running like the 1 DP detachment for the make warriors better, range I think range are about the same as they were before too. Range ones are debatably worse than they were before. I feel like range ones with Synapse though, there's ability for the fact that you can like move and shoot and then charge. And you're potentially throwing out more attacks over the whole course of the game with the ranged bioweapon warriors. There's still a lot of attacks they throw around melee. And especially they're supported by like the Prime with Lash Whip, and he throws his melee attacks in there, and they're shooting the whole way. That, like back in the day, that would have been the better unit because it can put out more attacks. But the way the game works nowadays, honestly, it's kind of a toss up, honestly. Like because the weapons don't have the greatest AP, but they get to hit their full AP. But they hit on, I believe. Yeah, their guns hit on 4, so a lot of the time they're gonna hit on 5s unless you have no recovers. And that's kind of a problem. There's also the thing too, like for 3 models, one model can replace its Devour with a Barb Strangler, and for every 3 models, one model can replace its Devour with a Venom Cannon. If you're in a 6-man unit, can you have 2 Venom Cannons, 2 Barb Stranglers? Cause that's how you run warriors. That's kind of fucking decent. A lot of random attacks that are decent strength. But like I said, if they're not ignoring cover, or they're going from 4s to 5s, and that's not the best. But they do throw out a plethora of attacks. They do have 5 3-up attacks at strength 5 minus 1 damage, which isn't terrible. And then you throw them with a Synapse creature leading them. Or wait, they are Synapse, so they're always strength 6 in the end in melee. So that's pretty good. Pretty good. And the melee ones, they're just, I think it's smidgen, but I think because they're AP2. And 6 attacks, I believe. Plus, oh yeah, they can pick the ability. Yeah, 6 attacks on 3s. It is higher AP, same strength though in the end. And their abilities on the fight phase too. So the range, I wish the range ones had like a specific ranged one. That'd make way more sense. But whatever. The word attachment though, they get 5 up and vuln save for both of them. They become battle line. They're decent like objective holding units. they're decent pushing units. I mean, they're toughness 5 with a 4 up save, 3 wounds. I mean, they're just fragile as Ravners. But there are ways to give that more ways to give them a 5 up invul and save than Ravners. Ravners, it's very specific one attachment. But you can in Vanguard Onslaught give a prime. I think the whole unit basically always in cover. It's pretty good in this edition, so Von Ryan Leapers got cheaper. They are 10 points cheaper than they were before. Within 20 for the 6-man unit, I believe. Actually. Huh. I feel like Von Ryans are really good this edition. They were pretty good before. It was a big screening unit. They could stretch them out. And now the 3-man units get the same price point as Lictors. Like, that's pretty good, especially Lictor attachment. If you're on disruption or priority assets or reconnaissance, having a bunch of small units or a bunch of extra Lictors is a good thing for your actions you potentially have to do. I realized I skipped a whole line here. There's a bunch of Von Ryan Leapers. Athlete back. Translate for 90 points. This is tough to mine monster with the deep strikes, and it still moves. The living drop pod. I think it would be hilarious because of the decade transport. You could run 6 of them. And you'd have a bunch of toughness 9 moving drop pods that are essentially like a weak ass monster on the table for 90 points. But I don't know if that's good. But you could put like carnifexes in them or something. Because they can transport up to a monster with a wound character of 12 or less. Or they could do like each infantry model wounds a character so more than one takes up the space of 3. So you could do a 6-man warrior unit in them, but you couldn't put a character in with it, which is unfortunate. But you could do a 10-man Geneslayer and Broodlord unit. No, wait. No, you can't do Geneslayers at all unless you do a 5-man unit, Lord, because they all take up the spot of 3. They have more than 1 wound. It's kind of unfortunate, but you can't do the 20-man Horvagot unit with the prime in there too because it's a 20-man cap or 20 model cap. Well, that'd be cool if you could. And it needs a little bit more space in it, then it'd be really good, I think. I wouldn't say it'd be really good, it'd have the potential to be good. The train effects, it's deceiving. Because it's like, oh, my train effects went down in points if I only run 2 of them. Until you take the Rupture Cannon. And it's where it was before, which I think is fine. It being a little cheaper for the Acid Spray, I like the Acid Spray a lot, honestly. I don't think it's a terrible thing to run 3 of them. It's a 10-point tax. It makes your 3rd one, if you run a Rupture Cannon, 10 points more than it was before. And if you run the Acid Spray, it makes your 3rd one the same price as it was before as well, so we're good, I guess. I think Tranifex is with its blank ability, which is really good in general. You blank 1 big damage per game, or one of if they don't have a bunch of big damage, block one of those damage abilities. But it being a 2-up save, and then things being more often -1 to shoot it, and you getting engaged in combat and cover, things are essentially at -2 to shoot it. That's pretty good, and it's fire out of combat with its big guns. Yeah, it suffers a little bit from the new cover itself too, like everything else is gonna, but not too bad. It's got heavy. So we can negate a little bit. There's a couple ways in different attachments and everything that do stratagems for Norse cover and everything. So if you're really banking on to get rid of that big thing, I mean, we got ways to fix it. So I don't think this edition affects it too much. It honestly, overall, is maybe positive, and I feel like we might see the Acid Spray a little bit more than we used to. I feel like you typically only run the Acid Sprayer if you're running 3 Tyrannofexes. You might, if you're running 2, you might do a Rupture Cannon, 1 Acid Sprayer. But I feel like you're really going to run the or the Acid Sprayer if you're running 3. You have 2 Rupture Cannons and an Acid Sprayer usually. You have that redundancy to really get rid of something big. Like the Land Raider, great. Get that better potential. And you get your Acid Sprayer, you have that Tyrannofex. I love running that one towards the opponent's deployment zone. And just be like, stop him if you can. He's T12, he's gonna blank something, and he's gonna freaking torrent your freaking infantry and do a lot of damage with this -2 2 damage. And I think he's the one that didn't have a Norse cover on his weapon, if I'm correct. Yes. The Acid Sprayer is our weapon that benefits from the new cover rules because it did not have a Norse cover before. So it is full AP all the time now, and it wasn't before. Spare turn effects just freaking got way better, honestly. Maybe I'm gonna work him in more often. Hmm. Hmm. Like it's strength 6, yeah, so I mean, but I mean, D6 plus 6, strength 6 minus 2, 2 damage. It's always gonna get the AP2 now. That's a lot better than it was before. It wounds most vehicles in 5 still. Most vehicles and monsters. It's starting top to 12. It's 5 OC on an objective. It's OC 12. Yeah. Damn. Okay. Hmm. But man, it kind of depends, like the vehicle spam in this meta and everything too. We'll see. I still think it's great. Asper is so much fun. Tire Guard, I think are the same. They might have went up a smidgen. I think they're fine too now. And the fact that I don't know if you could before, I think you could just heal who would have ones in a simulation storm, but with the way that heal works now, like if a tyrant joins them, well, even without a tyrant joining them, you can bring models back. A simulation storm for them. Which is great. And the other attachment that we have that can kill multi-wood models. But I think it's just simulation storm off the top of my head here. So yeah, pretty solid in this edition. And I had this weird thought that like, wait, tyrant joins them, he gets a bodyguard unit, you know, yada yada. The simulation storm, if someone precisions your tyrant out, but the hive guard that he joined were alive and he's part of that unit, then you went to heal the unit, and the only thing that was gone, like that was missing was the tyrant, everything else is full health. The tyrant comes back, right? So that's kind of big. I know it's gonna be rare for him to get sniped out before the hive guard are gone. But for that occasion he does, it's pretty good. And then also the fact of how quick rolling's done nowadays. You know, the tyrant guard are gonna eat those 1 through 3s for your tyrant before all the other things, big things, get to him. So that's kind of nice as well. Venom for 55 points. They give cover, right? And I mean, they have stealth all the time, so they're always in cover. I think that stealth and cover if they're within 6, which are the same thing this edition, so it doesn't stack. I do agree. I think it was High Mind Hobbies. Jordan over there, he said that he was. I think he's the one that said he thinks Venom should have like grenades, and I agree. I think anything with like a spore chimney, or that lets out like a miasm or spores, like even like tyrants and stuff like that, I should have the option for it. Potentially, toxic crane especially. Anything that's in the lore that puts out spores that like choke things, maybe should have the explosives. Maybe. I don't understand why pyrovores could have explosives. Biovores could have explosives. Um, we have a few units that could potentially have explosives. One of my dreams is that we get different variations of carnifexes. They don't just start with screamer killers. We get some of the old great nicknames went back, but with like specialized rules, and maybe one of them could be the carnifex has explosives. Could be cool. I It depends what they do with our codex when we get to that point. We're a bit from there, so we shall see. And because we're out of order, we did the Von Rad Leapers. They're great spy at 26. So we'll talk about that again real quick. Winged Hive Tyrant. He went up by like 20 points, I think, or 25 points. I don't run one. I don't have one. I still think he's great. His downside is though, his like his little claw attacks are pretty fucking weak compared to like the walking tyrant's extra attacks. So you know, that part's kind of lame. The fly rules are better though nowadays. So it takes this guy 6 months to move, goes over all the terrain. Great. I mean, still have tyrant. I believe he still has a reduced CP ability. He's also got another ability. He's got Wizard Battle. He's the reduced CP ability and Paroxysm. At the start of the fight phase, you can select one enemy within 12 inches is visible of this model. Roll 1d6 on a 1. The tiger suffers D3 mortal wounds. On a 2+, until the end of phase, subtract 1 from attack characteristics of weapons equipped by models in that unit. Ooh, it's pretty good, actually. It's very niche. Um, and the melee heavy armies, we might see a little bit more of in this edition, at least at the beginning. You thought they're take one attack off everyone's profile. And if they were having them engage with like near Maliceptor as well, and the minus one to hit, that's a pretty good kind of gimp your enemy a little bit. Wayne Tyrant of Prime. He's 65 points still. He's fine. Prime with Ashup's so much better. It's ridiculous. He moves faster though. Gets to the gargoyles. If he joins a unit of warriors, they slow him down. Essentially. But he still has this freedom of moves as long as he stays in coherency, so I don't know. I kind of like the idea of him. Like, if you ran out of Lictor models, he could be a great, like, in reserve solo character for, like, big game actions or positioning for secondaries and primaries or harassing your opponent's backfield. Because it's easier to place that 40mm base, especially with our new deployment rules or setup rules, so. Otherwise, it's okay. The other big shocker for me in this was Zoanthropes did not go up at all. Zoanthropes are 100 for 3 or 6 or 200 for 6, and there is no tax for running 3 other units of them. And they benefit greatly from the psychic shooting thing, because we can ignore any and all modifiers, weapon skill, ballistic skill, and to hit. And when they join the Neurotyrant, they can just be like, I'm going to take the benefits of my +1 to hit, and I'm going to ignore the negative modifiers, and they're going to hit on 2s, and we have multiple detachments that can, or multiple ways to get them reroll 1s as well, so they're basically going to hit with everything all their time. Pretty legit, and they're not gonna lose AP anymore, because, unless someone uses stratagem, because of how cover works, and they're not gonna lose, or they're not gonna get -1 to shooting because they're psychic. They ignore those. They can choose to ignore any modifiers. So yeah, pretty legit actually. Zombies looking pretty good in this edition here. Well, we'll have to see. And like, they changed the fly too, because they technically fly. Would they take to the skies as well then? They ever trained? Or just big things? I'm gonna have to double check that. I believe it's just the fly keyword that does stuff like that for us. So yeah, it's pretty good actually. Wait, and the Neurotyrant's got fly as well. He's easier to move now too. That's right. I had that thought because, well, they're infantry, so they don't have to worry about it. It's the Neurotyrant. The Neurotyrant's not hindered anymore when he joins them, because he used to have to go around the walls and everything because of how fly worked going over stuff. So now he's more mobile actually. Hmm. Like, he went up 10 points, but oh man. I mean, it's still a 3. Like, him with his own hoops is a 315-point unit. That is steep. Because, what? Toughness 5 on zone throws with a 4 up invuln save. Or, yeah, 4 up invuln and 3 wounds is okay. It's not the greatest. But you position them so they're safe. You tow them in, remove them into a piece of terrain, and then you just freaking demolish everything that can shoot at them. The idea. And you get them in like an objective or like a area terrain area, and they get cover. So things -1 to hit them. They have a 4 up invuln. I mean, that's a little better for them than it was before. I don't believe they go to ground if the narrow tyrants with. I think it's gonna be infantry, beasts, or swarms. They tell me have that keyword still in the unit. I'm not sure how that's gonna work. The only things that like confuse me with the addition of those weird little nuances like that. I know it's explained in the one thing how the keywords pass off. Because I feel like it's usually the negative effects of them go more, but anyways. Detachment wise, ambush predators. The enhancements. The Zodiac Wars is kind of like they're kind of pricey. Cryptophatic camouflage is the -3 detection range on leapers. And then so it makes it 75 points, makes it 5 points more than before, but the detection range is like 12 inches. And then if there's like the dense piece of terrain between you and the opponent that's hindering their sight to them, they automatically go to ground. And then go to ground makes it so that their detection range is only 9 inches. So like it's really easy to hide a unit of Von Ryan's. And Circling Horrors gives you a reactive move on your lictors for 20 points. You can do it to any of the lictors. You're gonna take it 3 times though. It does feel like a steep tax, but like like one of the guys in our community, my community, was saying, well, my local community, not my community, but our local Warhammer community was saying, a lot of people pay like a CP or two to get a reactive move like that. It's not just like a D6; it's a D3 plus 3. You're moving a minimum of 4 inches, and it reacts if they end within 8 inches of you. Which is pretty good. Lie. I'm trying to think any other weird ones. I don't know these so well. If it was about the same invasion fleet, it was the same as before. Point wise, they're the same. And nothing stands out to me that's like out of line here. Third chart of Karsus, or Chris. -1 leadership aura coming off like your either tyrant or I guess you put anything, but it's a 9-inch -1 leadership aura. I'd be really good with early Battleshock heavy army. I think Synaptic Nexus has potential in this edition. Like reading through its rules and everything. I'll get to that later here though. We're already hit like the hour mark here with this video, and I'm so sorry if you watched this whole thing. It lets me ramble and ramble. Tales of the Norn Queen. I do love this attachment. I believe the Sinatra Prescience is the invuln save for simulators, which is 25 points. The Stabilizing Predation is the anti-character 2-up for Norn emissaries for their shooting. If you got the extra points, yeah, it's great. I don't think the Norn emissary needs it. The simulator definitely needs the 25 points from. He needs it. It makes him so much. It's the main reason people didn't take him before, I feel like, honestly. Because you looked at him like, oh, he's 275 points for a 2-up save and no invuln. Yeah, he gets a 5 feel no pain if he picks an objective, but I probably want him to kill stuff. Yeah. There's also a strategy to get him the 4-up more against mortals. So he can be just like a emissary. Just hit harder, which I think is cool. Adepts. Thanks for him. Never used the attachment. Vanguard slot, I used it for the first time the other day. Chameleonic is the thing. 15 points. The unit that the character joins gets cover or gets stealth and cover all the time, basically. Which is pretty awesome, actually, this edition. So I like it for a big Ravener unit right now. I think it'd be fine on a. It's cool. The character has to be a Vanguard invader as well. There's only certain things that can take it that are going to join units anyways, so yeah, I think it's great on him. Maybe a flyer would be good on too. He's always got cover, he's always got stealth. Gonna be pretty decent there. They engage in melee. Oh man. Yeah, actually. That on the flyer, he's always in cover. Engage him in combat, it's another minus to hit. So you just keep him in combat to combat as best as possible. And things to shoot at him, he'll be at -2. Not bad. Hunting Grounds is kind of cool. Just because I'm a 2-up, anything that comes from reserves has to take a battle shock tech. And I think Vanguard and Synaptic Nexus both have really good potential to build into like a heavy battle shock army. So. And then Warrior Bioform Onslaught. I don't remember what those do off the top of my head. I think one is the one that makes the characters give them like +1 hit, like that. Reroll a hit wound. I forget. It just buffs the character. I know. If the other one is here, but it could be something or something like that. But overall, I feel like Tyranids made out okay with this. They didn't point hike us too bad anywhere. In fact, like some points went down. Things that did go up make sense, and some things only went up if you ran 3 of them. So, I mean, I think we're sitting pretty good right now at the start of the edition. It'll be interesting to see what our 11th edition codex looks like. But at the moment, with our stuff carrying from 10th edition, I feel like we're in a decent spot. I do feel like, though, a lot of people look at stuff in a vacuum. I'm trying to do that, where they look at, like, Oh man, this many points, but like how does that compare to like the balance of the other armies in the game? How does that play into all the new missions? How does that function across the new tabletop layouts on the terrain? How does that affect your positioning? How like I just think there's so much of people just looking at different aspects of the position in a bubble right now. And be like, oh no, this perks a foe is OP. Killing units is OP. Well, killing units is a big part of the game, so first what you want to do, But also so is tanking hits and stat checking people and bring a ton of models. I I think there's so much that we're gonna figure out about this edition in the next few months that aren't gonna be what people predicted, or GW is gonna change enough in the first few months that it's gonna throw that off a bit. I feel there's a ton of potential for this edition right now, which is good. As someone that was here for like the fifth, the sixth edition transition, and knows how bad that ended up being. 10th through 11th being so good so far is awesome. Even though I've been rambling for a while, we'll just touch on this really briefly. The app rolled out. It was fantastic. It's at least the best custom pairing. You have your history, all the freaking primaries are on there, all the secondaries are on there, all your attachment stuff's on there, the FAQs are automatically updated. Uh, it just set up really well. All the rest of the rules we're missing are on there. It's great. It's so good. I can't say enough about it. It just needs a dark mode still. And I wish when you're looking at stuff in the battle bunker mode, it didn't sort everything alphabetically. It's all sorted by characters, battle line, dedicated transport, and other. And then alphabetically. Those are like if they could just fix it. I know there's some bugs with the app right now. Some people it's crashing. I had issues with it starting a game, but I might hit some wrong buttons. So we're used to it, but honestly, this app is so good that I think it might have wrecked tabletop tactics. Battle, yeah, tabletop tactics, battle tactics, whatever it was. They kind of made their app an all-in-one, which is probably what they should have done, honestly, from the get-go. And now they're doing it finally, and it feels like they're really pushing into accepting like the digital rules era. And I'm here for it, honestly. Just makes things easier, it keeps things modern, it keeps things current. So, anyways, if you hung out, thank you for listening. Thank you for chilling. Thank you for popping by. We got a little caffeine. If not, go make some coffee here. Have a great day, and if your army got really hit by the nerf stick, let me know. And if yours didn't, also let me know, because I'm kind of curious what you think about what happened to your forces so far at the beginning of this edition. Y'all have a good one. Take care. I'll see you soon.